Hey guys, Daniel here. This is another video, and in this video I'll actually be reviewing a super amazing comic called The Suicide Squad Issue 1. This book is so amazing. I'm so excited to get into it. This is actually the new Suicide Squad run by Robbie Thompson and art by Eduardo Pansica. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right, but it's just such a fantastic book. This is DC Infinite Frontier. But I'm sure you've seen a lot about this. There's a new lineup. Everything about this is so brilliant. If you've watched my channel, you know I've been very lucky enough to interview some Suicide Squad writers, such as Rob Williams and John Ostrander, and I'm so grateful to be able to do that, as they're both brilliant. And if you're a Suicide Squad fan, keep your eyes on my channel, because I may have a good interview soon, which I'll actually be discussing in this video. Later on, I'll announce that interview, so if you stay tuned and watch this video, you'll get to see that announcement. But, the Suicide Squad Issue 1. So if you haven't heard about it, it's a new run. But it's only started, I believe it's actually on issue 4 now. I have issue 4 over here. As you can see, Red X on the cover, which I'll be making a separate video about Red X. But it's the newest enough run, I believe. Yeah, it's on issue 4 now. Issue 5 comes out next month, July sometime. By the time this video is up, it'll probably be out. But there's just so many different things I love about this book, and I'm so excited to get into it. So basically, the synopsis from the DC Comics website is, I'll just read it out here. Things have changed for Task Force X, as Peacemaker takes over as field leader. There will be no more avenging or defending the government's top-secret task force of killers, thieves, and criminals. Amanda Waller, now back in control of the squad, sends a new squad into Arkham Asylum to recruit the deadly Court of Owl's assassin, Talon. While she, of course, interviews another new candidate, Superboy. So yes, Superboy is actually part of the Suicide Squad now, which is some masterful writing, which I'm so excited to get into. Basically, the plot is for issue 1. They're all, Peacemaker leads a team of characters, which I'll get into, to go into Arkham Asylum and try and kidnap Talon. Well, kind of kidnap and recruit him into the Suicide Squad, because he would be a very valuable asset. I believe Talon is created by Scott Snyder in his run. Scott Snyder is one of my favourite writers of all time. He's brilliant. But yeah, no, so on the cover, I'll tell you about each member. The cover is, of course, Peacemaker. You can see him down there with his 2 batons. So Peacemaker is actually becoming a very huge character in the DC universe. He's going to be in the new James Gunn Suicide Squad film, which I'm so hyped for. But yeah, he will be played by John Cena. You can't really see him on the cover. Yeah, you know, that's right. I said it. It was a brilliant pun. You all laughed. You did. But yeah, no, you can see Peacemaker there on the cover. Next to him is probably my favourite character in this issue, FilmFreak, because I can kind of relate to him. Basically, FilmFreak's whole gimmick is that he just quotes movies, like in the worst situations, and I may do a little I probably will spoil what happens to him. It's not too bad. Just wait and find out. If you want to avoid spoilers, click off this video, because I think the only really way I can get into it is if I spoil it. But there's Talon at the top, aka William Cobb, who they're trying to recruit, and next to him is Bolt. Bolt is actually a teleporter, and underneath is Shriek, I believe his name is. I remember, yeah, Shriek. But yeah, no. So that's basically the main lineup. There's only 5 people there, but we will be introduced to more. So let me just get right into it. So the art on this book is it's just so good. The guy who draws this, Eduardo, he is a genius. He is a masterful artist. I don't know how he's so good. This is genuinely some of the best art I've seen in years. He's just so talented. It's pretty annoying. It's annoying how good he is. But yeah, let me just credit everyone here. Robbie Thompson, the writer, who I'm equally a massive fan of. Robbie is such a great person. And you know what? If you've watched this far, I might as well say it. Robbie Thompson will be my next interview. That's where I've interviewed Robbie Thompson. I imagine your jaw has come wide open. This was so crazy. I recorded it a few days ago as of now, and getting to interview him, it was such a pleasure. He's such a kind person. So if you're watching this, you get the early scoop. That interview will be up later this week, so keep your eyes on this YouTube channel, and you will see that. But we talk for maybe at least an hour and 50 minutes about all things the Suicide Squad, and we also discuss all of his other works from Marvel, Star Wars, etc., etc. But getting to interview Robbie was a dream come true, because he's one of my personal heroes, and I've loved his work. When I met Will Sliney, I read Han Solo, which he wrote, and that's when I heard the name Thompson, and that's a famous sounding name. So to get to finally interview him, and like for him to say yes, was kind of surreal. And Declan Shalvey also, from what I've heard, Declan Shalvey was very kind about that, and because he kind of talked about that. But Declan is also a brilliant guy. Time Before Time issue 2 is out now, so make sure to go pick that up. I'm gonna try and get that from my. I'm not sure if I have it ordered. I'm gonna check later when I get my new comics. So I'm gonna make sure I have it ordered, because it's been a great series. Check out my review on that as well. But you know, enough of the sidetracks. Yeah, Robbie Thompson is the writer. Eduardo Pansica is on pencils. Julio Ferreira is inks. Marcelo Malo is the color artist. Wes Abbott on letters. Pansica, Ferreira, and Malo on the cover. And Gerard Parel is the variant cover. Bixie Mathieu, assistant editor. Michael Cotton, editor, and Jamie S. Rich, group editor. And Superboy, based on characters created by Jerry Siegel, by special arrangement with the Jerry Siegel family. But as you can see there, basically we're introduced to Rick Flag and Amanda Waller. For those who don't know, basically Amanda Waller is kind of the leader of the Suicide Squad. She keeps them in check, and she is probably one of the most intimidating characters in the DC universe. She has no hesitation to blow your head off, just because why not? Because she has I think she's probably the most convincing leader, because Captain America, you know, if you messed up on a mission, he wouldn't blow your head off. But Amanda Waller, on the other hand, has no hesitancy killing criminals. And Rick Flag is kind of her second in command, I suppose you could say. While she stays back and arranges the missions and kind of keeps an eye in the sky with drones, etc., Rick Flag is on the field leading the squad, reporting to Amanda, making sure they don't do anything wrong. But they've always kind of been, you know, together in the book. Like, not together, like partners, I suppose you could say. Like, he would always help her out. And this is the first time we've kind of sensed any tension. I mean, obviously, you know, we've sensed tension between these two characters before. But this is where it's like, you know, they're both very different and they're both arguing at the start. So the book opens with some pages of previous Suicide Squad, which I really love because these are all from separate runs. The first one is a picture from Ostrander's original run, and then the second one is from, I think that's Rob Williams and Adam Glass's run, and then the last one is from Tom Taylor's run with Bruno Redona. That run, Bad Blood, with Tom Taylor's was brilliant. And he's probably one of the, I think Adam Glass and Tom Taylor, they both did Suicide Squad as well. But I got to include Rob Williams and John Ostrander. Everyone make sure to go check that out. Basically, they're both arguing, and it kind of opens with, this was a really smart way to introduce the comic, because it gives a synopsis of the Suicide Squad before we even get in. It's, Task Force X has always had a simple mission statement. A team of incarcerated supervillains sent on a Black Ops mission in exchange for reduced prison sentences. The team follows orders, or the bombs in their neck take them out. That is the Suicide Squad. But this is madness. And that was a really smart way for Rob to introduce us to the series, and I really like that. Basically, it opened with Amanda Waller and Rick Flag arguing, and we don't really find out what until it turns out there's kind of a big reveal that I don't want to talk about too much. But basically, Amanda Waller talks about how she's so tired of losing constantly, and you can really understand that, which was smart. And I love how Robbie Thompson is definitely a writer, because he managed to pick up on something like that and put it into the book. But she's tired of constantly building up this squad, only to see them all fail in the end. Because that's what the Suicide Squad are. They're a team built up of losers. And Rick Flag's like, that's the whole point. You know, they are losers. So, you know, you can't expect them to win every time. But Amanda just wants to win. And you can kind of see in this book that she's kind of on her tipping point. You can see that she's kind of losing the plot a little bit. She wants things to be in a very specific way. And the colours on this book are so great. The colours are by, let me just go back and see, Marcelo Maiolo. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right, but the colours are so good. You can see here, and there's one page I loved in particular. I'll get to it later. Basically, we're also introduced to Arkham Asylum, where Peacemaker is trying to break in. Peacemaker incapacitates two guards there. He knocks them out because they're trying to, like I said, trying to break into free Talon, aka William Cobb. But he's also with the other people, like I mentioned there. But as he goes in, he's like, because he ended up being teleported into the sewers of Arkham Asylum, so he had to go the long way. And he says, you know, Bolt, your teleportation is horrible. And Bolt says, oh, that's weird, you know, it worked fine enough for us. Yeah, as you can see here, because he teleported now. Obviously, he made Peacemaker take the long way in. And that's what the Suicide Squad should be. I love this zany approach they're going through. And they're really playing with the whole idea of, yeah, these are these silly B-list supervillains that will all blow up. And each run has been very different. Like, John Ostrander's was, and this seems to be taking some little elements from John Ostrander's. Like, when I interviewed Rob, he said that he was taking a running joke, which I won't say what the running joke is, because I'm like, go check out my interview when it drops to find out what it is. But in John Ostrander's one, there's of course the ongoing pie joke, where someone kept on getting pied, and I won't say who it was, but it does have a very funny ending, and you know, you kind of notice something there. But there's Peacemaker in all his glory, and I love, the thing about Peacemaker is that he is duality of man. And if you don't know what duality of man is, it's like, okay, so he wants peace, but he will go to war for it. And you see how that contradicts itself. It's like, you know, that's really the perfect example there. He wants peace so much that he will kill people for it. So basically doing the opposite of peace to get peace. And I really like that idea. And it's just such a funny idea, and I really love how they're including him in this run. But you can see him there. This book is just so brilliant, though. There's so many different things I love. But anyway, as they get in, they're looking for, of course, Talon. But there's one character, FilmFreak, who's my favourite character. He quotes films. That's his whole gimmick, like I said. And, you know, there's... Okay, I will spoil it, so click off this video if you don't want spoilers. Okay, I assume you've clicked off by now. FilmFreak ends up dying in this issue, but I won't say how until I get to it. But anyway, as Amanda Waller and Rick Flag argue, Rick Flag says, I'm not taking any part in this, no way. You know, you've gone crazy. And as he's about to do something, Rick Flag, of course, goes and turns his hand. Peacemaker, abandon operation, it's too crazy. But Amanda Waller sees that he's doing this, and she decides to electrocute him, zap him, make sure he's decommissioned. And she says, you know, I hope you come to understand Rick, because the truth is they kind of need Rick Flag, because he is the linchpin of this whole operation. But by the time they find Talon, here he is, he's just covered up in these bunks. As you can see, he's crazy because he's etched onto the wall, who, like just etc, etc. And I love that because it's an owl, so he's saying who, and that was some really smart writing by Robbie Thompson. Rob's writing on this series, it's brilliant, and I can't compliment it enough because I don't know how to put it in words, but I love it because it's just, Rob has a great understanding of these characters, and you can feel the tension in this book. Like, I'm pretty sure half of these characters are going to end up dying, you know? But, yeah, as you can see, anyway, the book continues, and Bolt, the teleporter, he tries to come in, and he's trying to, like, okay, yeah, let's just pick up this dude and go. So he grabs Talon, as you can see there, and Talon, this one panel by Eduardo is just so great. Like, Eduardo, like I said, he's a brilliant visual storyteller, and I don't know how he's so good. It's just super amazing. But the inks on this book are also fantastic. The inks are by, let me just flick back to the opening page, Julio Ferreira. Him and Eduardo work so well together, and I really hope they all stay as a team because it's just so smart. But basically, you know, once he puts his hands on Talon, Talon does not take too well to this, and he slices up and he slits the throat of Bolt, and Bolt just falls backwards. And anyway, Rick Flag and Amanda Waller, sorry, continue to argue, and you can see this was a really smart panel down there. But the inking on this book is fantastic, and I love the uses of blacks and, you know, just the way it works together. Inking is such an underrated profession, but the inks in this book are just so amazing. Julio is so talented, and I really do love that, and I want to make sure I credited everyone, so let me just pick back to the back. Oh yeah, and the editors on this book are very good. I love the Bixie Mathieu. I remember I see her name on a few comics, and Mike Cotton as well. They're both doing great stuff in the DC universe, and of course Jamie S. Rich as well. They're all doing great stuff, and the letters are by Wes Abbott, and the letters on this book are just so amazing. I love the letters so much, and there's one page in particular. Actually, I think I went past it. I know which page it is. It's the Rick Flag electrocution page, which I just touched on. When he gets electrocuted, you can kind of see yeah, it's right there. You can see, and that's just such a smart use of the panel. So the letters by Wes Abbott are just insane there, and I think they're so smart. Basically, as the book continues, they continue to fight, and eventually, once Talon slits the throat of Bolt, they're like, oh my god, let's just stay clear of this guy. And so they kind of try to get him out, and now, of course, they're just, like, they were trying to go in, be super stealthy, but, you know, when someone screams, that tends to make things go off, and this was a brilliant double-page spread here. And Talon is still fighting because he's confused, you know, he's a bit crazy, and that's, just remember the fact that he's crazy, so when you read future issues, they'll come back to that. But this was some really nice storytelling there, and I'd love to see, because I can't imagine how Robbie Thompson wrote this in a script and it inevitably got turned into this. That's great. That amazes me because, you know, comic writing is something that I do want to do, and so to see something like this get put onto the page is just, it's something that I don't even think I could come near to doing. Robbie Thompson is a masterful writer, and this is one of my favorite series I've read recently. So to get to actually know people working on it, and Eduardo just accepted my friend request the other day on Facebook, which is, it's so crazy. Because get to know people like this, and get to talk to them, it's something that I don't take for granted, and you would think that they would, you know, be huge famous celebrities and just spit at me, but no, they are some of the most lovely people in comics. And Robbie, getting to interview him was literally a dream come true. I was nervous for it all day, but he genuinely had that whole, no, it's okay, you know, we'll just have a chat, and he was just so super kind, so giving, and I really loved that. So he really, I wasn't sitting here like, oh my god, I don't know if I can do this. I got in, and like, we genuinely had a very good chat, which I loved. It's one of my favourite interviews yet. But here's my favourite page in the whole book, and screw you, Robbie, and screw you, Eduardo, for what you did to this dude, but FilmFreak dies, but I'm only messing, you know. This was my favourite page in the book because it has the greatest ending line. his final words are, "That's all, folks," which is a reference to Looney Tunes. So it's only fitting those last words are a movie quote. But that was such a fun appearance. Of course, FilmFreak. This is just my favorite page in the whole book, and the colors are what really makes it. I think this book is. Whenever I think of it, I think of like green Joker gas, and that's what I love about this series because it's very fun and it really plays with that whole zany aspect of the Suicide Squad. But basically, Amanda Waller. We cut back to Amanda Waller, and she's walking, and she's at a very fortified cell, and then of course it reveals she has Superboy in custody. And that's crazy. So he wants to use Superboy to eventually lead the squad. And later on in the series, there's some tension between Superboy and Peacemaker, which I won't talk about too much. And basically, as the book continues, Peacemaker's trying to knock out Talon because Talon is what they came for. He only came for Talon. That's all he wants. As he runs away, he tells Shriek to distract the guards, but Shriek. And Peacemaker ends up betraying Shriek and locking him in the door behind just to get out Talon. And Shriek is like, "Oh, you son of a..." And then the door closes. And that's how they get away. But then, at the final pages, Talon and Peacemaker are at the very top of a flight of stairs saying, "Let's get to work." But all these guards constantly coming up. And they pick up on that in issue 2, which I really love. So yeah, now we know that Superboy is back in the series. And he has some tension with Peacemaker. I also have issue 4 here, which was a really nice issue. And I'll only talk about this one a little bit. But this is the appearance of Red X, who I'll be making a separate video on. So if you'd like to see me talk about issue 4, that'll be in either one video before this or probably one video after this. So next week I'll be talking about this issue 4, and I will also be discussing, where did I put that issue, over here. I will also be discussing Red X as a character and sharing some fan theories. So stay tuned for this next week. But yeah, that just about concludes my review of the Suicide Squad issue 1. I'm hoping someday to get this issue signed and maybe by everyone who worked on it, and probably also get it framed in my room. But it's so brilliant. As you can see there, that's the creative team. Make sure to go check them out. I highly, highly, highly recommend you pick this up from your local comic book store. It is such a fantastic book. Everything about it I love so much. Some of the best comic books we're getting in years. It's just so smart and I love it. It's probably I wouldn't say, it's actually, yeah, it's one of the best comics in the world right now. I genuinely love it. I was thinking, should I say that? And I was thinking about all the comics, like, yeah, this is definitely one of the best. And there's so many different comics. DC is doing fantastic stuff right now. But yeah, make sure to go pick that up. Local comic book store. Issue 1, Issue 2, Issue 3, and Issue 4. And in Issue 5 will be introduced a Bloodsport. And the Suicide Squad will be traveling to another dimension. But just to foreshadow some things that happen in future issues, just to get you hooked, Peacemaker and Superboy have some tension. They tried to kidnap a member of the Teen Titans. What else happens? There was a revelation regarding one of the characters that maybe he's not who he says he is. And I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, and they travel to a different dimension, which will be happening in issue 5. So all of this in 5 issues, you can tell it's very crazy. And also they meet in a laundry room, which is just the best part. But yeah, no, this book has just been so amazing. I highly recommend you go check it out. Go check out everyone who worked on it. And yeah, stay safe. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been a review. Please make sure to donate to the National Deaf Children's Society. There'll be a link for that in the description. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all next video. Stay safe. Pick this up. You will not regret it. So many great things people have worked on it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all next video. Bye.